Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Real Positive Girl podcast. My name is Sabrina. Happy Monday to all my friends. I hope that you had a fantastic weekend. I hope that it was full of so many productive opportunities and some rest and some fun and hopefully some sunshine wherever you live. I understand that some people who live in Australia or below the equator, guys are experiencing winter right now, but I still hope that it wasn't too chilly. But yeah, I hope that you had a great weekend, and I hope that today, Monday, is starting off really well, and I hope that your day is going really well, even if your day is just beginning, in the middle, or towards the end. I hope it's a great day. I hope that you feel positive going into today, knowing that it's a brand new start for a new week, and you have new opportunities to crush your goals and just go after everything that you might not have been able to finish last week, or you just know that there's going to be challenges this week with your work or with school or whatever it may be that you are going to conquer head on. But yeah, just believe and be positive that this is a brand new week. So no matter what happened last week, this week is going to be great. And even if there's some obstacles, it could still be amazing. So again, happy Monday. Also, if you are having a really hard day, if you're just feeling stressed, overwhelmed, I encourage you to do the 5-minute reset, which is where you take at least 5 minutes to be by yourself and take that time to actually take a deep breath, kind of just shake off any problems, issues, anything that's weighing you down, any burdens that are giving you trouble at the moment, and any problems that you're facing, kind of just like let it go for a moment, take a breath, take a break. Also, take some time to problem solve any problems that are affecting you directly head on right now, so that you are able to go back to that situation, get it all resolved, and then move forward, today, the next day, whatever the next time is that you're going to be facing that issue head on. Also, in your 5-minute reset, I encourage you to make a list of at least 4 items that you are grateful for, and those can be big things, small things, medium-sized things, and you can be grateful for, just being blessed with enough money to pay your bills in the bank, or you can be grateful for the snuggles that you have with your pets at home. You can be grateful for being able to get out in the sunshine, go to the beach, go to the lake, go to the creek, doing whatever you want to do. There are so many things you can be grateful for, which means that it's a never-ending list of amazing things to be grateful for. And just being grateful and thankful for things really, really helps you to shift your mindset and change your perspective in life. And then I encourage you, the last thing before you leave your 5-minute reset is to make sure that you feel at least neutral, if not positive, about the rest of your day, because despite what you are going through, and again, I'm not here to diminish your feelings, but despite what you're going through, if you just review the little gratitude list that you created, you'll realize there are still amazing, wonderful things happening to you every single day, even right now. And so just focus more on those things than the negative things that are plaguing you at the moment, and you will feel so much better in your mind, hopefully so. But I do hope that you're having a fantastic Monday. This week on the podcast, we are going to be talking about kindness. And so if you're new here, every Monday we start a new topic, and then we talk about it throughout the week, 5 different episodes talking about that topic. And this week it's going to be kindness. And you might think, wow, Sabrina, how could you possibly talk about kindness for 5 days straight? And I definitely found a way. It's going to be great. We're going to talk about kindness towards ourselves and kindness towards others and how to be kind and just things like that. And I think it'll be really important because I feel like during this time where everyone is going through so much stress, so much anxiety, depression, just hard times financially, and just like relationally, I just want everyone to realize how important kindness is and how it's something that we can exhibit and give to others without having to spend any sort of money and really not that much time, depending upon who we are serving at the moment. So I just thought it'd be a fantastic topic to talk about. Also, I find that kindness is just such an amazing gift that you can give, and I feel like we should all be trying a little bit at least to exhibit kindness and show it to others as much as we can. And I know that kindness blesses us as well while we are giving it to others. So today, Monday specifically, we are going to talk about why kindness is important. So let's go ahead and just jump right in. I'm not going to talk too much about what kindness is because it's one of those things everyone pretty much understands, but a quick breakdown of what kindness is. The quality of being nice just to be nice. Kindness is being generous and considerate without any expectations of anything from anyone else. If you are truly being kind, you are not doing it to gain anything from anyone. You are just doing it because it's the right thing to do. And I know that, like I said, it's a really common understanding of a skill. And I do find it to be a skill. It is really an interpersonal skill because it takes strength and courage to do it, which I'll talk about a little bit later. But yeah, it's an amazing way to give back. It's an amazing way to bless others. It's just, there's no other way for me to say that, it's just, and kindness in itself is you are truly doing something and you are not expecting anything back. Like even the whole, it's common knowledge to know that usually kindness will come from kindness, but you shouldn't give someone kindness and expect it back because you may not get it back, right? And we'll talk about this more later in the week when we talk about kindness for other people. But a lot of times when you're kind, you just have to be kind, and that kindness that you give to others probably won't hit them right then and there, especially if they're having a hard time. And that's the amazingness of it. You can't have a selfish mindset when you're being kind to others because, you might be expecting some sort of great, thank you and, oh, you're amazing and I appreciate it. No, you're not going to get all of that back sometimes. Sometimes you will. I mean, a lot of times I could say that you will, but there are going to be times where you're going to be kind to someone. You're going to go out of your way, to be courteous and to help them. And they're not going to say thank you and they're not going to care. And it might take them a long time to realize the kindness that was bestowed upon them. It's just like the whole thing where, if you do something really nice for someone, if you're super generous and you go out of your way to do something, you'll never know how that'll affect someone. And even if it's just a smile, I've talked about this in previous podcasts where if you're walking down the street and you see someone and they don't look very happy or they look upset or whatever it may be, and you just smile at them or you hold the door for them or whatever it may be or say a kind word, you don't know how that's going to affect them. You don't know what they were planning on doing that day. You don't know if they're having one of the worst days of their lives. You don't even know if they've been super depressed or feeling anxious and that really helped them. If they're going through abuse and they just don't trust anyone and that was so kind, or you don't know, maybe they're on their way to go through with some sort of suicide plan, which is really dark and negative, I understand. But maybe someone smiling at them or someone just being really kind and courteous to them out of nowhere just really snapped them out and changed their perspective on life. And you'll never know if that's the effect that you have on them. But that's why it's important to be kind. You have to be kind all the time. And kindness, I just definitely wanted to make sure that everyone was aware that kindness is that generosity, that considerateness without any expectations of anything. You're just doing it because it's the right thing to do, because it's the best thing to do, and it's not really going to cost you anything to do it. In regards to why kindness is important, the first thing I want to mention is how it makes you feel when you do it. When someone engages in kindness activities, it just makes you feel so good to do something nice for someone else. And, if you are doing kindness activities for the wrong reasons, then sure, it probably won't feel good to you. You'll probably feel like, oh my gosh, I have to do this because, if I don't, then this might not happen. Or, if I do this, then they will do this and that'll help me and it'll kind of help them. But I'm really more focused on how it's going to help me. You see what I mean? So yeah, if you are going into kindness with a negative attitude or just wanting to get what you want to get and you don't really care how they feel in the end, it probably won't feel good. But outside of that, when you're just doing it from the joy of your heart and you're just happy and you're just yeah, let me do what I feel like is best in this situation now, how I can be kind right now, you're going to feel great. You're going to feel so warm and content and fulfilled because you were able to help someone. And again, it doesn't really cost you anything. You know, it might cost you a little bit of time and a little bit of compassion, but honestly, we should just be trying to give as much compassion as we can, especially these days. So yeah, just think about like if you are ever hesitant on being kind to someone, which I really hope that you aren't, but if you are, I would encourage you to think about how it's going to make you feel. And I do understand that, you know, we can go through hard times in our lives where we don't want to be kind to others because other people haven't been kind to us. I understand, you know, it's like do unto others as they do unto us. And if people are doing bad to you, you want to do bad to them. You want to give everyone back what you have been given, but that's the wrong way to think about it because yes, you know, you may have been pushed around, you may have been abused, you may have been hurt emotionally, mentally, physically, whatever it may be. However, if you continue to pour out kindness, generosity, consideration, just being nice for the sake of being nice and continue to put that out there, you will get that back. And honestly, through all of that crap that you've gone through, believe me, I've been through a lot of crap similar to that, you will just be so much stronger in the end, and you will be able to realize that, yeah, there's a mix of good and bad people in the world, but maybe down the line, all the kindness that you continue to put out despite what has happened to you will be a really, really, really encouraging story for someone else that's going through the same thing, or the people that are doing it to you. You know, maybe all of a sudden they will just snap out of it and realize, man, I'm being a real big jerk, or I'm doing the wrong thing. I need to, you know, this is not really affecting that person that badly, or, you know, they're still being kind and happy. Like, what am I even doing here? So I just encourage you to think about that. And, you know, it's even been studied that those who practice kindness start seeing an increase in like general overall happiness, slower aging, which I need that, feeling healthier overall, and having better relationships with others. This is in comparison to someone that doesn't practice kindness regularly or feels they are altruistic. So if they don't feel like they're kind, they don't feel like they give their time, their energy, their heart. They don't feel like they are being nice just to be nice, being generous and considerate just to do those things because it's the right thing to do. So so who else would not want to just, you know, increase your happiness? And you're increasing your happiness because you are just putting happiness out there in the world. And yes, again, you know, it's much easier to be kind when you know, when you get a quick result. A result like in the moment that you're giving it, where someone smiles back, they say thank you, they're super grateful. You know, maybe they'll be kind to you in return. I understand how it's much easier to be kind in those situations because you're getting it back right then and there. But it's the times where you don't get it back at all, or you get very little back, that's really going to strengthen you, really going to push you, really going to, you know, be the harder moments, the moments that you need to push through and continue to be kind and realize that you just don't know how it's affecting people below the surface or after the whole interaction is over. So please, 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 I encourage you to remember that when you're out there being kind. It's also important to note that kindness begets kindness. And the more often you practice kindness, the more natural it becomes to be kind. You know, part of this could be due to the positive reactions we receive when we are seen being kind, and the basic fact of it becoming a habit. So, you know, kindness is definitely one of those things where, you know, you're going to be kind, you're going to get kindness back, and people are going to see you being kind, they're going to decide to be kind. And, you know, it will become a habit if you do continue to push through, like I said, through the easy times where people are giving it right back to you, and through the hard times where people aren't giving it back to you. But if you're just continually doing that, it will become a habit. Sometimes, though, bitterness can sink in a little bit, and I can tell you that directly from personal experience, because I do find that the kindness that I have is a habit. You know, I like to be courteous to people, especially people working in a customer service field, like workers like that. I like to hold the door for people. I like to smile at people. I like to give compliments even to strangers. You know, I like to help people if I see that they're in need and it seems like a safe situation. I like to do that. There are times, though, where, you know, if there's there's like a week that's gone by or a month and I just feel like no one's outside of my close friends and family have exhibited any kindness to me just out of nowhere, it can kind of creep in. But that's where the devil's gonna get you, right? It's gonna get in there and be like, oh, listen, no one's being kind to you. Why should you have to be kind to other people? But you have to continue to tell yourself that, we need to be here helping each other out, building our community out. Some people just aren't ready to do that yet, or they don't see the importance of it. But if you are continually out there spreading kindness, that message will slowly but surely get across to more people. But yeah, so I mean, like I mentioned before, it could be due to the positive reactions we get when we're being kind, which is why we'll want to be kind more and more and more because we're getting positive feedback. But I just need to hammer into you the importance of continuing to be kind without that positive reinforcement back right away. Just let it become a habit. Let it become something that is just natural to you, and be aware of any bitterness setting in when you don't get any of that kindness back for a little bit of time. And I want to make sure I mention that sometimes being kind can be seen as being naive or weak, when really to be kind, you have to be you have to have courage and strength, which I mentioned before, especially when needing to be kind when no one else is willing to be. So let's say there's a situation where someone needs help and no one else is stepping up because they're not sure, or they're just not feeling it. And you have to be the one that steps up in front of other people to help them, to assist them, to be courageous. This definitely could happen in a situation where there's a bunch of people outside and you need to help someone that's gotten hurt outside, or a homeless person that's trying to, reach out for help, or just someone randomly that needs help and everyone is just kind of stepping over them metaphorically, moving on, not really putting any time or attention into it. Or maybe it's a situation where someone's kind of an outcast and they don't like them for certain reasons because they're just not the most appealing person. They don't really fit the cookie cutter mold that those people like, and you have to have the strength and courage to step out and help them and talk to them and, be their friend, or do whatever you need to do to exhibit kindness in your own way. But yeah, sometimes I don't understand why people would think that, you're naive or you're weak because you're kind. And sure, I can see that people might think that you're weak if you're super kind, because they think that you're going to let people walk all over you and you will always say yes to everything, but that's not true. People that exhibit kindness can still have personal boundaries. You can still say no to things. You can still not involve yourself in every single thing. It doesn't mean that you have to be taken advantage of by any means. It just means that you are trying to, you're trying to just be more helpful to as many people as you can within your own personal boundaries. So I want you to know that it's you don't have to be weak and naive. You are definitely more strong because you're taking that time to care for someone else, and and not focusing solely on yourself. So please do not think that being kind is being weak at all whatsoever. If anything, it's demonstrating more strength than many other people do, because it's so easy It's so easy to be mean and selfish and to move on than have to actually talk to someone and, kind of figure out what their issues are, figure out a way for you to help them, to assist them in some way, or even just stepping outside of your comfort zone to talk to someone you don't know, smiling at them, maybe offering to help someone get their groceries in their car or whatever it may be, give extra $1 or $2 to someone that you see on the street or whatever it may be. That's more courage and strength than it is weakness, for sure. So please remember that. Another reason why kindness is so important is because it can easily become contagious. And, I was speaking about that before, kindness begets kindness. There aren't many things better than finding out someone that previously wasn't exhibiting kindness is suddenly being kind, caring, and considerate to others. And research has shown that we as humans are not made to be selfish or super competitive by nature. We are created to be helpful and kind to one another, and by being a role model for kindness, you will unknowingly encourage others to be kind as well. So there was a lot there. Let's break it down. Kindness is important because it's contagious. If you are being a role model, and a lot of times you can be a role model without even realizing it, because, you never know who's watching you. And I don't mean that in a creepy way, but you never know who's taking a peek, seeing what you're doing, keeping track of it. And they're like, oh my gosh, that person is always kind, is always caring, despite how people might say mean things back to them, despite how some of these people are treating them. They're still kind, despite the terrible things that they're going through in their own personal life. They're still exhibiting kindness, courteous. They're still being considerate to others. They're still being generous and nice as much as they can. That's amazing. Maybe I should try that. Maybe I'll be happier if I do that. And so you don't know if that's the kind of effect that you're having on people, but you might. And if that helps you to be more kind, then continue to think that that's the kind of effect that you are having on other people. And yes, research has shown in several different places that I looked up research on why kindness is important. Yes, we were not created to be selfish or super competitive by nature. We are created to help each other and, form and build up community together. And I just think that by being kind and helping each other out, obviously we're going to build a stronger community because we're coming together more cohesively and, collaborating together, and then just kind of more getting on the same page and not just having people be casted out and put outside the circle just because they're different. We all need to come together and realize that all of our differences can be helpful to other people, and that's why we're all created differently. Yeah. I'm like so big on that, and I know that I talk about that often, but it's important to note every single time that I bring it up. I'm telling you. So just know that, yeah, it's important. Continue to be that role model. Continue to realize that people, you being kind to other people might encourage other people to be kind to other people, or maybe the person that you were kind to decides that, oh my gosh, this person stepped out of their comfort zone. They decided to take time out of their day to be kind to me. I'm going to be kind to someone else, and it's like it just like continues down that chain, and everyone starts being kind to everyone. Wouldn't that be amazing? I think it would be amazing. Let me end with telling you that showing kindness to others is just as rewarding as receiving kindness from others. Doing good for others feels good, and it brings us together as a community. Again, it's important. It's important to show kindness, and it is rewarding. Like, think about it. Like, when someone is kind to you and they go out of their way, and even if it's just a teeny bit out of their way to help you, to be kind, to be nice, just have those good people that pop into our life here and there, or often, depending upon who we are and what we're going through and what season of life we're in. Doesn't it feel so good? You're like, wow, they were so nice to me. I just wasn't expecting that. But then think about how someone else would feel if you do the same. And I'm not saying, again, I want to make sure you understand that you have to be kind the same way that someone else is. Your version of kindness can definitely be different, and it should be. If you don't know what to do, then sure, you could just do what someone else does. But your version of kindness will be awesome too, because as long as you are being nice without expecting anything in return, and just doing what you feel is the best for that person, and you will grow and mature in kindness to realize what would be the best course of action, or what you should do for different people, different scenarios, as you become more accustomed to being kind if it's not something that you truly are used to doing. And it's just amazing. So doing good for others feels good, and it brings us together. And one small note before I let you go, I understand that you might be thinking, oh, Sabrina, how could there possibly be anyone in the world that is not being kind on purpose? They just aren't. They just aren't. And I'm going to leave it to you to have those come to Jesus moments with yourself where you're like, oh my gosh, am I not being kind? And maybe I'm not saying that if you aren't being kind that you aren't a good person. I'm definitely not saying that at all. I'm saying that maybe you aren't a good person. Maybe you've gone through so much crap in your life that it's really hard for you to be kind because no one's been kind to you. Or maybe it's just not something that's on your mind. You're too focused on whatever other stuff is happening in your life. You're a super busy person. You're super focused and zoned in on other things. And it's just, when you're walking down the street, you're not looking at anyone else. You might be listening to something on your phone. You're maybe on a phone call. You're just deep in thought. You're zoning out. You're just from place to place to place, thing to thing to thing. So I'm not saying that if you're not exhibiting kindness on the regular that you're bad or you're doing anything wrong. However, I do want to encourage you to try to step outside your comfort zone and exhibit more kindness to other people, because it's amazing. And the more you do, the more you'll get back. And don't do it to get it back, but know that you probably will end up getting more back the more you do. So, okay, you guys. Well, thank you so much for listening to the Real Positive Girl podcast. My name is Sabrina. I hope that you really enjoyed this episode. If you did enjoy it and you know someone else that would enjoy it, I encourage you to share it with them. I really appreciate all your guys' support and love and care in this podcast. That is just every time I record episodes, I get so happy and excited. Like if I were to do like a video version, you'd see how much I'm smiling. So again, thank you so much. Happy Monday. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And until next time, I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.